Sit down. Good afternoon. I thought I was back in the CE Gaines Center last night after that thrilling victory by our men's basketball team. But we're here this afternoon for a different reason. We're here to unveil our new strategic plan. That's why we're here. And we're doing it this way. We could have just sent the plan out. I could have stood behind a podium and read about the plan. But you need to see the plan in action. You need to see this plan come alive. Because that's what we do here at Winston-Salem State University. Let me take just a moment to tell you where we came from and where we're going. This university was founded in 1892 for the express purpose of educating recently freed slaves. Dr. Simon Green Atkins had a vision about creating an educational institution for those individuals. The conversation at that time centered around what kind of education do we need for recently freed slaves? Dr. Atkins said, we need education that will educate their hearts and their minds as well as their hands. And there was a lot of opposition at the time, but he held steadfast to wanting to create an institution just like the great institutions of the day. Dr. Atkins said, I want this institution to look like the Harvards of the world, the great private institutions of that time. And so he led this institution, founded it, was here for so many years, and what's deeply rooted and embedded in Winston-Salem State University is that energy, is that spirit. This is a transformative institution and has been one for 123 years, starting out in terms of making sure that they responded to the zeitgeist of the times, whether that was educating recently freed slaves, or providing quality education to teachers at the turn of the 20th century, or whether that was creating a nursing school in the 1950s to be responsive to soldiers who were returning from World War II and the Korean conflict. And then watching that school of nursing grow into the School of Health Sciences today, one of the premier schools in this country offering master's degrees as well as doctorate degrees. This institution has always transformed itself, starting from a normal school to the first African American institution to dispense with normal education in 1923, to the first African American institution to offer degrees in elementary education in 1925. This institution transformed itself from Slater Industrial Academy to Winston-Salem Teachers College, and now to Winston-Salem State University. It's in the DNA of this institution. That's what we do. This institution was there during the Civil Rights Movement, ushering in a new era about how we want to treat one another. And so as we look at what's happening in this society today, as we have moved from an industrialized society more to a global, worldwide, technologically information age, it requires that we think differently about how we educate folks today. When I was in college many years ago, the trajectory of what I was going to do was laid out for me. They thought that you were going to go to school, get a degree, then you're going to go out and find a job in that degree. You're going to work for 30 years, and then you were going to retire. That doesn't happen anymore. The fast pace of change that has been ushered in by technology and the internet and the information age. Now, content, what you know, isn't as important as what you can do with what you know. And so as we have changed, we started thinking about, well, what do we want to do here at Winston-Salem State University? So in the last strategic plan, it began with the understanding that we had to give students essential skills to be able to go out into the workforce, those critical skills, analytical skills, problem-solving skills, because that was a new wave of the future. So in the last strategic plan, we embarked on a renaissance in trying to elevate liberal arts and liberal education, making sure that we could educate folks and give them those essential skills. In order to do that, we had to take a hard look at what we were doing. We had to look at our courses and our curriculum. We had to look at our investment on our campus. We had to look at investments in faculty and making sure that we did that. We had to be able to tell a compelling story for funders and you and alumni to give back for the work that we're doing. And we looked at those kinds of things. And so when I got here last year, as we were ready to look at a new strategic plan, we asked the question, what's next? Where do we go from here? And I think that we landed on a place. And we're going to share with you what that's all about. That strategic plan led us on a trajectory like none other. Today, Winston-Salem State University is looked upon as being one of the premier institutions in the UNC system and one of the great institutions in this country. So as we begin to look at the metrics of success, there have been a number of publications, and you've seen them around the country, and they talked about Winston-Salem State University. You saw that now that we were number one in the UNC system, and our graduates who are employed, number one in the UNC system. Number one in terms of those folks who go out and get those jobs in terms of the amount of money that they make. Number one in the system. You read and you saw that College Choice said that we were the number one HBCU in North Carolina. You saw also that College Choice said we were number 5 in the country, and we're just getting started. But if we look at it in terms of what came out of 2015, looking at the success that we had, nothing was more powerful than CollegeNet Social Mobility Index. Nothing was more powerful than that. That index looks at colleges who are making a difference in the economic disparities in this country. CollegeNet said those colleges that take students from under-resourced families and they come to college, they pay a low tuition rate, they get a wonderful high-quality education, and then they go out and they get employed, they change the trajectory not only of themselves, but of their families. 931 colleges across the country were ranked in how they did this successfully. Winston-Salem State University was ranked 7th in the nation. So what you will hear today is where do we go next and how do we deepen that? We must begin to have a strategic plan that is built upon 2 major platforms. Those platforms, equity and social justice. Those are the pillars that we're going to hang our hats on and we're going to drive this plan for the next 5 years. We're going to have a plan that is equitable in terms of how we treat individuals. We're going to make sure that we provide an opportunity for each and every student to be successful. We are not going to say that you cannot be successful because of the color of your skin or your economic value or what your parents make. We're going to say that we're going to provide a learning experience that would allow you to deepen those essential skills that we talked about in the last plan. Getting more opportunities. So we're about deepening this plan to go beyond that. And so as we think and as you listen to us, and you will see that this is certainly a wonderful plan, we will need your support because it's going to require that each and every one of us think differently about how we approach education. I made the statement that every student that comes to Winston-Salem State University, every single person that's here plays a part in helping them develop that and have that wonderful educational experience. So now you see we have these pillars that are going to guide the platform of the strategic plan over the next few years. But it's going to be driven by a set of core values that are going to drive us for the next 5 years. And we are going to be committed to these values: trust, integrity, social justice, stewardship, student-centered, excellence. These are our core values. I could tell you about these values, but I've invited a few friends to join me today, and they're going to come on stage, and they're going to tell you about these core values. We got a nice little show for you. I want you to sit back and listen. I'm going to come back at the end and kind of wrap things up for you. Thank you for coming.
Please welcome Brenda Allen.
Good afternoon. Wow, this is really a wonderful event. I'm here to tell you a little bit more about the strategic plan, but I want to first put it in the context of overall what it is we're trying to do. The strategic plan, Experiencing Academic Distinction, Transforming Learning for the 21st Century, is about bringing quality education to every student at Winston-Salem State University. The plan defines quality education as one that prepares graduates to thrive in a rapidly changing world. It's the type of education that helps our graduates become or do anything that they choose. Quality education has three major goals. One is to help students acquire the broad and specific content knowledge. Second, quality educational experiences help students develop the intellectual and interpersonal skills that transfer across careers and across personal contexts. Third, quality education is designed to give students opportunities to engage important questions within disciplines, within their communities, and in society at large. Quality education is synonymous with liberal education in that it produces individuals who are free, independent, and creative thinkers. Graduates with those type of qualities are able to lead across their personal and professional lives. Creating graduates to lead is what this strategic plan is all about. As the Chancellor said, a lot of the current strategic plan was placed on the platform from the last strategic plan, Achieving Academic Distinction, the Plan for Student Success. In that plan, we began to reform the curriculum, placing emphasis on critical skills like thinking and communication. We also invested in faculty in the areas of teaching and research. Under the previous plan, we made resources available for high-impact teaching practices like study abroad, undergraduate research, and internships. Along with our co-curricular activities, we invested in capital improvements, helping to create the kind of living, learning, and recreational spaces needed to offer a quality education. We made huge investments in infrastructure related to information technology, preparing us to be able to build state-of-the-art living, learning, and teaching centers. And finally, we energized fundraising in support of scholarships, capital projects, and co-curricular activities. Under the previous plan, we also saw the implementation of not one, but 2 doctoral programs, both of which are experiencing national recognition. Yeah, give yourself a hand. Master's programs in the area of health sciences also grew, also attracting applicants from across the country. We invested in technology so that we could bring state-of-the-art teaching tools to the health sciences education programs, and the school made huge investments in the community through its mobile clinic and its student volunteers. For all of our efforts, we, as the Chancellor showed you a minute ago, are seeing lots of dividends paying off. For one, as he said, we have statistics to show that our graduates are first in the system in the number that attain employment in North Carolina post-graduation, and their starting salaries are among the highest in the state. Basic stats like retention and graduation rates are showing marked improvement. And again, if we look at our graduates and our programs in health sciences, they continue to perform stellar on their licensure exams, creating excellent feedback from every outside accrediting body. We also see many of our students getting national and international recognition, and many of our students are now going on to some of the most competitive graduate programs in the country. So when people ask me, where do we go from here? I respond by saying, we need to make these successes more pervasive. We need to make the outcomes the signature of Winston-Salem State University. We need to let everybody know that quality education is what we do. So the present plan lays the foundation for us to be able to make quality education the signature education of Winston-Salem State University. It lays the roadmap for us to be able to scale up the opportunities that we know will secure post-graduation success for our students, and it also details the way in which we have to garner the resources in order to sustain those efforts. So in the present plan, we will engage in a total reform of the curriculum, trying to strike that balance between improving content knowledge and critical skills. Over the next 5 years, we will continue to invest heavily in faculty development so that we can assure that we can offer the highest quality education possible. Resources, again, will be provided so that high-impact practices like writing across the curriculum, undergraduate research, and experiential learning will be ubiquitous across our campus. We will continue to modify advising and continue to bridge the gap between living and learning on our campus. This new plan also plans for reinvestment in our education programs. Preparing teachers to serve our communities and beyond remains vital to the mission of Winston-Salem State University. Signaturing our graduate and professional programs will be a task of integration. So the plan has us taking steps to take some of the unique approaches and successes that happen in the individual programs and make them a part of the school's view and broad outlook. We also have in the plan opportunities to do some really interesting collaboration between the college and the school. In some ways, hopefully creating new programs that will lead our graduate and professional programs much more on an international stage. In the plan, we also want to do something to make sure that our historical focus on the community becomes an integral part of the signature experience at WSSU. And so, as the Chancellor said, we are looking to take the social justice focus of our centers and integrate them more directly into the curricular and co-curricular work of our faculty and students. In this particular goal, we're hoping that we are echoing loudly what we really mean when we say, enter to learn, depart to serve. And of course, none of this can be accomplished without resources. And so the plan lays out continued focus on expert stewardship of the funds we have, as well as re-examining our allocation processes and identifying new sources of revenue. We will continue to make investments in technology, infrastructure, and capital programs so that our campus can continue to grow. And last but not least, the plan calls for us to make major investments in faculty and staff development so that we can continue to cultivate the highest trained faculty, staff around. So as we look at the strategic plan, experiencing academic distinction, transforming learning for the 21st century, what we see is a plan designed to continue Winston-Salem State on its trajectory to excellence. While it's always a great day to be a Ram, I'm especially happy with where we are today. Thank you.
Please welcome WSSU students Kyle Brown, Paulina Graham, Paula Quiterio, and Mona Zaire.
Today is a groundbreaking day for the campus of Winston-Salem State University.
A university built to serve students from all realms of life. It's been here since 1892. For more than 100
120 years, it has created the collegiate experience.
Student-centeredness will allow for current and upcoming students of Winston-Salem State University to obtain an experience like no other. This institution acknowledges that it is only as strong as the scholars it produces.
The promise of excellence, which stems from WSSU's high standards of quality, will ensure that the students are going to get valuable education that will open the door to their future. Not only that, it also will help them to carry the banner of WSSU proudly.
Our beloved founder, Dr. Simon Green Atkins, envisioned an atmosphere where education developed all people. WSSU has continuously preserved this mission and built on his legacy. With innovative ways to cater to the student body, the value for student-centeredness is the catalyst for academic evolution.
Our 2016 word of the year is believe. Believe in what, you may ask? We believe in transformation. Transformation like no other, because we are cultivating the culture of students who will receive the most intimate values of liberal education, an education that will take you beyond your wildest dreams. Let's say Mona dreams of studying abroad, a dream that she plans to accomplish sometimes before she graduates. A dream not deferred, but a dream that WSSU would take a seamless approach to reassure that Mona's dreams come true. These are the expectations of your new strategic plan.
Picture our university functioning like the human body. The arteries link to the organelles. All the values for the strategic plan connect to the heart, student-centeredness. Here at WSSU, our focus is more than just survival of the fittest. Performance, maintenance, balance. Understanding that each and every one of us requires a specific attention to be successful. You wouldn't teach a fish how to walk on land or a bird how to swim in a pond. Instead, WSSU discovers the niche from each and every one of us to facilitate the pathway to transform our lives.
From birth, the average African American, Hispanic, and Latino are at a relative disadvantage. This plan implements equitable practices which consist in the belief that race and socioeconomic status should not be barriers to academic excellence. Winston-Salem State University will allocate resources in order to bridge the existing gap, prepare, and also enable us as students so that we can become top candidates in this highly competitive job market.
WSSU transforms the school, transforms the students, but so much more than that, it transforms the whole community. This transformation occurs through our commitment to a community, to social justice. Therefore, if we, the students, can really make a difference, we can go out there and not only practice the skills that we acquired at WSSU, but can really put a smile on somebody else's face and change completely the direction of the community. By serving others, therefore we make really the difference. So the knowledge and the skill can be really, really helpful.
There is no ceiling to this plan. Do you know why? Because each and every single student sitting in this auditorium matters to Winston-Salem State University. You are not a number, you are not a statistic. You are the change agents of tomorrow. You are the next prosecutor, you are the next biologist. So here we have our new strategic plan that will help guide you to your future.
With this plan, we are expanding liberal education to all.
With this plan, we are bridging gaps.
With this plan, we are inspiring new generations.
With this plan, we are cultivating the culture.
With this plan, we are innovating higher education.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please welcome Activities Coordinator Shalee Broussard.
Have you ever been in a relationship that just didn't work out? All right, so you find yourself arguing, disagreeing, up all night confused, trying to figure out why isn't this relationship working out? Just like the relationship that we, the faculty, staff have with you, the students, our foundation begins and ends with the strategic plan, which is the fabric and core standards that connects and guides us through matriculation of your college career. For example, thinking back to that first time you met someone and it was really, really awkward, you wasn't sure, or had a clue as to what they expected from the relationship or where they saw the relationship actually evolving to. Okay, just do this. Imagine if you were able to create a strategic plan for your relationship. Now remember, I said to use your imagination. You would have the ability to lay out governing rules in which each of you would have a solidified set of responsibilities that will in turn give you both a sense of security and consistency. Like I'm telling y'all, use your imagination, okay? Well, that's what the strategic plan will do for our campus community. It will allow us all to think and plan through the same vision and mission, give us the ability to create a consistent and holistic learning environment, which will include student-centeredness, a true understanding of equity, and the ability to send our future leaders into a competitive global society, equipped with an education grounded in social justice and excellence. Because here at Winston-Salem State University, it is our responsibility, from the Office of Admissions to the hardworking groundskeepers, to ensure that this relationship stands strong, rooted in the 2016-2021 strategic plan that will maintain a courtship that will last well beyond the next 50 years. Thank you.
Please welcome Dean of the School of Health Sciences, Dr. Peggy Valentine, and Dean of the College, Dr. Corey Walker.
Peggy, this is truly an amazing day.
It is. I am so excited about this new strategic plan and all that it will do to move us to the next level of excellence, to make us more committed to student outcomes for our faculty, for our staff, and I just believe it's a new day for WSSU.
I'm reminded as we look forward to always look back, to remember the tremendous heritage of this institution, to understand the rich tradition that is Winston-Salem State University. And I'm reminded of the words of one of our dear departed colleagues, Joseph Patterson. Dr. Pat always stated, "Those who dare to teach must never cease to learn." It is that charge that we've taken up in this strategic plan. It is that idea that we become a learning organization, that we dedicate ourselves to developing a learning ecosystem, to design new ways of disseminating knowledge and to push the boundaries of knowledge in ways we can't even imagine today.
Very well stated. The question becomes, why would a student choose Winston-Salem State University? There are many reasons that we can give, not only quality educational programs, but the value added is affordable, we have faculty who are excellent, and with this plan, it's going to propel us higher levels where our faculty will be at the forefront, preparing students to be their very best. Because I believe that when we give our very best to the institution, our students will perform to their very best level, and they will be outstanding citizens for this nation, for North Carolina, and even the world. So the sky is the limit of where we're going to go with the strategic plan.
You talk about that commitment from our faculty. Our colleagues are truly amazing and outstanding. They're committed not only to pushing the boundaries of knowledge, they're committed to developing the most dynamic learning platforms inside of classrooms and across the campus. They're committed to not only doing that, they're committed to developing a collaborative culture, because we understand that life in the 21st century depends on collaboration. It depends on health sciences partnering with arts and sciences. It depends on business partnering with education. It depends on the entire university thinking not as a unit, but as one university. That is the amazing thing about this plan. It leverages that commitment, builds that collaborative culture, and most importantly, it enables our students to reach their dreams.
We could get so much further with a strategic plan by our faculty working together, as you said, across interdisciplinary lines. As we look at dual degree programs, creative models for educating our students, creative models for increasing diversity in our programs, creative models for moving us forward, that we are the thinkers, we are the contributors to the body of knowledge, and we are able to move forward with the strategic plan to places that we have not been before. We build upon the legacy of our founders, we build upon the legacy of those who've come before us, and we ourselves are leaving a legacy through this plan.
You talk about creativity, Peggy, and I'm always reminded of the words of Mae Jemison, who reminds us that the arts and sciences are avatars of human creativity. We're reminded of that each and every day. This strategic plan reminds us that creativity is found everywhere, in the classroom and on the campus, in the community and throughout the city. It is not only Winston-Salem State University, it's the city of Winston-Salem, it's the state of North Carolina, it is the nation and the world. We're preparing global world changers. We're preparing the future generations who will enable, with their creativity, a development of a new world and to transform a new humanity. That's our goal.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. You know, for many, many years, we have been here in the East Winston community. We built strong partnerships. And as you've said, we're going to now take this to the next level. We're going to have more international outreaches through this plan. We will have more partnerships with community members, not only here in Winston-Salem, but in North Carolina and other parts of the United States. We're going to help our faculty connect to those researchers and to move that body of knowledge to a level where they can inform the classroom so that our students can be the future researchers of the 21st century.
Thank you, Peggy. Thank all of you. Thank you, Winston-Salem State, for enabling us to live a dream together, a dream where we will transform the world. Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Please welcome class of 2010 alumnus, Theo Chan.
One of my favorite quotes or saying in the WSSU alma mater states, "As we go forth from Old State U, good leaders we will always be, and stand with all humanity, as you have taught us, State University." Winston-Salem State University has not only taught us, but as alums, it has allowed us to become lifelong leaders. So the big question, what has Winston-Salem State University taught us? Well, we've learned about stewardship. This year alone, Winston-Salem State University has seen an increase in alumni giving. Most recently, yes, clap. Most recently, Stephen A. Smith, class of '92, committed to donating $250,000 over the course of 5 years to Winston-Salem State University. We've also learned about excellence, not only academically, but professionally, pushing those to higher success. Those like Miss Mignon Turner, class of 2004, who was our first Miss CIAA, and she also served internationally as a U.S. diplomat. Social justice is the hallmark of Winston-Salem State University, and it is the prime reason of our existence. We have a special alum who was still in school here at Winston-Salem State University when he was elected the city council member here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. His name is Daryl Montgomery, class of 2010. He showed us how to move and reach for our highest. And as alums, that's what we do. At Winston-Salem State University, we've not only learned about academic success and professionally, but we've learned to enter through the walls of Winston-Salem State University, the headquarters that rebirth visions, divines transformation, and provides a purpose-driven future. Here at Winston-Salem State University, we have learned that we not only enter to learn, but with this plan, we will depart to serve as transformative leaders professionally, personally, and as future leaders. Thank you so much, and welcome to the new plan.
Please welcome City of Winston-Salem Council Member and Class of 2010 alumnus, Derwin Montgomery.
Somebody said it couldn't be done, but don't they always say that it can't be done? Proving the cynics wrong, doing what they say we cannot do. That is who Winston-Salem State University has been, and this plan will ensure that this will be who we will be for the future coming forward. Winston-Salem State University, since its inception, Simon Green Atkins, when he was building this great university in 1892, 20 years before there would even be a city of Winston-Salem, looked beyond the walls of this great institution to build the community around it. That has been a hallmark of who this university is and who this university must be moving forward. In 1962, President Kennedy set his sights on taking this country to the moon, and some thought that he was absolutely crazy to set his heights that high. But this university has set its sights on being a transformative, world-class institution, and I believe we can do just that, because we have transformed the world around us consistently, moving individuals from one place to another. That is who we are, making a difference and changing lives around us. Just think about those students from Winston-Salem State University who marched down and sat at lunch counters in downtown Winston-Salem, leading to this being the first city in the state of North Carolina to desegregate its counters because of Winston-Salem State University. And if you ever believe and ever think that this is too high of a goal, that we're reaching too high, just think about what we've already done. Think about what has already been accomplished. Think about the sites that have already been done. Our nurses are already saving lives in the city of Winston-Salem and across the world today. Our teachers are already educating students across the nation here right now. And we have been led by great leaders like Simon Green Atkins and Kenneth R. Williams. We have produced great statesmen and women like Larry Womble and Erling Parman. We have produced great community activists like Professor Larry Little. And remember that it was you who elected a 21-year-old student to the Winston-Salem City Council, becoming the youngest individual in the history of the city of Winston-Salem. So remember that you are already transformative, and it is only who we must be in the future to change the world around us. So never forget that we are transformative, that we change the world around us. So I'm happy, I'm excited, because the world in the future looks bright because of Winston-Salem State University. The future of the nation looks bright because of Winston-Salem State University. The future of the city of Winston-Salem is bright because of Winston-Salem State University and because of all of you. Thank you.
And now, a special greeting from United States Congresswoman Alma Adams.
Hello, I'm Congresswoman Alma Adams. Since 1892, Winston-Salem State University has helped generations of students realize their educational and professional dreams. The university offers students an affordable, high-quality education that prepares them to meet the challenges of the future. The new strategic plan is grounded in the university's unwavering commitment to equity and excellence. Transformation is nothing new to WSSU. As the first African American institution to award degrees in education in 1925, Winston-Salem State has a history of blazing new trails. With this strategic plan, the university will again take on a leadership role in its comprehensive approach to liberal education. Our children are our future. As a former college professor and now member of the House Education and Workforce Committee, I know our future depends on higher education. So on behalf of the residents of the 12th Congressional District of North Carolina, I congratulate and wish you the best as you move forward. Thank you. Go Rams.
Please welcome back Chancellor Robinson.
I told you I was coming back. Remember three things from today's presentation. How are we moving forward with this strategic plan? S's. We want to make sure that we scale it. We want to make sure that we provide opportunities for each and every student to be successful. We want to make sure that we sustain it. It's not enough just to be successful for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. We have to sustain that. And then all the work that we do becomes signature. It becomes how people see Winston-Salem State University. So remember those 3 S's as we go forward. One of the things what I'll say here is this is such a great university that we're going to do something very special, a little bit something very special at the end. The folks, everybody here knows what we do and how we do it, and they have experienced the WSSU experience. But not everybody around the country and around the globe knows it, so we're going to give them a little taste of the WSSU experience. I've heard from Tennessee. Hello, Tennessee. Thank you for tuning in. I got a call from Finland. Hey, Finland. Thank you for being with us today in this presentation. So we're gonna ask the band to kind of get ready, get in place, and see if they're ready to do something. We're gonna close this out. We're gonna do the first verse of the alma mater. We want to do that, and then we're gonna show the world something kind of unique. There are a lot of bands and a lot of universities that they do stuff and people copy. Well, what you will see at the end is so good, people don't even try to copy it. All right, I'm gonna invite my friends to come back out on stage. Come and join me, please.